day. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another skateboarding knowledge. As you can see the title, 1883. It's about a series, show on Paramount Plus. Actually, there's three of them. There's Yellowstone, 1923, and then 1883. So what got me to see the show is because I saw a preview of the Yellowstone. So that looked really interesting. So before I get into the show, for some reason, this show is kind of like, I know it's skateboarding knowledge, but it probably has nothing to do with skateboarding. It has to do more of myself, you know. I feel like the show was made for me for some reason. But knowing all that, after I watched it, it took me about 5 tries. I watched it the first time, I probably saw like 4 episodes of it. And then the second time I rewatched it, I turned it on just to go to sleep, right? And then the third time was like, I turned it on, I watched it for like 10 minutes, I turned it off, because I was watching in the living room. I couldn't put the volume up because, people were sleeping. 4th time, same thing, and then finally the 5th time I got to watch this 10 episodes of 1883. And now I'm watching, I wanted to watch the rest of it, of the second part, 1923, but I'm on episode number 6 right now. But then it would get dark. It's already 3:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. So it's a ranting video. Sika, it's for you, Sika one. He liked this kind of video, so I figure I'd just keep doing it because, I'm more of a storyteller than a skateboarder, I guess. The show is more about, like I said, it's made like almost for me, even though I wasn't born in 1883. Just the style of the story, These days it's very hard to find a good story, good. I don't really like movies because to me it's too short, and I'm glad there's like series of these like episodic shows. And a lot of times when you watch a show, like they have part 1 and then part 2 usually sucks, right? But this one is different. Like 1883 kind of set up the tone for the 3-part series. But the second one, 1923, I watched that twice and I turned it off twice because I didn't really had a mindset, right? I had a lot of worries, right? At the time, when I was watching the shows, these 2 shows, I just moved here, right, to Texas. I had a lot of things, on my mind. Then coming here, trying to settle down. So my cup wasn't empty, So I couldn't consume all the new information coming in because it would just spill off from the old coffee, right? That was in my cup. I didn't empty it, so it's spilling over. So I wasn't consuming the material because my mind was so full and I was so serious and worried about a lot of things, And then finally yesterday I I finally watched all 10 episodes of 1883. It was funny because right when I was getting to like episode 9, the internet went out. And so I was like, oh man, I need to watch this, right? And then I know it's crazy, right? Like, I don't know, a lot of these stories I tell you, it seems like it's like made up, man. It's so like Hollywood can't even write these stories. So my brother-in-law, my sister, and my sister, and then my older sister, they went to a church retreat in Oklahoma yesterday, right? And they never locked their door in their bedroom. And yesterday the door is locked. Last night around, when I needed to get in her room because the modem and the wireless modem, there's two separate, right? Instead of all in one, it's like two pieces. Is in her room, and since it's not like the new modem. Like a lot of new modem, they'll just reset itself once the internet boot up. But it didn't reset itself, so yeah. So I was waiting and waiting till like it went out around 7 o'clock. So I wanted to watch the show real bad, right? The last episode 10. I actually turned on my my data usage of my phone. So I got this Samsung A03, which is like pretty old. It's a Walmart Straight Talk or track phone or something like that. I think I got Straight Talk, but then I bought the wrong plan, which is the track phone or some shit like that, or Straight Talk, something like that. It wasn't on the right one, and I get 10 gigs of data a month. I think I pay like $20 or whatever, $25. So it turns out 1 gig of data is 1 episode. So I had to watch that last episode. So I turned it on, instead of watching it sideways, the full screen, I was watching it this way and real small. Because I didn't want to use that much data, right? And I had my reading glasses on. This one right here. The 3.0. So I was mostly just listening, to the last one. I didn't want to waste that much data. But it turns out I still use 1 gig of data to watch 1 episode, which is 1 hour. Because they have the commercials in it. And then after that, I was just sitting around. I didn't want to play games or thing, but then I was like, man, I didn't want to sit in my room. It was around 10 o'clock at night, last night. So I was like, fuck it, just go downstairs and play my, I have a Nintendo Switch, right? So I was gonna play with that. Hold on. I had to go inside because I figured it's gonna be a pretty long rant, so went and got us some crushed grape. So we have something to drink. Anyway, so the 1883 is pretty good. It's not as good as 1923. Like I said, usually the first one is real good and the second one sucks, but this one's opposite. The second one is really good. Kind of like another good show would be like Terminator, right? Terminator 1 and then Terminator 2 is really good, right? So think of Terminator 1, Terminator 2, right? I haven't seen Yellowstone yet. I think it's on Hulu. I'm not sure where it's streaming from, but eventually I want to watch that. So tonight I'm gonna finish watching 1923 when we get back in there after I make the video. So I don't know where to begin, you know. I mean, I could begin up to show 1883, but there are so many like points, you know. The struggles of the people, right? Because this was in the pioneer days, you know. Where they're like trying to. So what it is, they travel from the east. The show is about these people from Europe, right? From Germany, from the Slavic people. Is it Slovakia, something like that? Maybe some Russians. Anyway, they're trying to get to Oregon, and they're like traveling across Texas, you know, in a wagon and everything. But I want to give you a little bit background, you know, because I don't know where to go, like begin or whatever. You know, it's not scripted. It's like from my head. So I lost my wife this year, January 29, 2025. We're together for 22 years. So the daughter, so there's this guy, this captain, you know, from the Civil War, and he had a sidekick. So they were hired to help these people, you know, go across, you know, to go to the west, up to Oregon, right? From Texas up to Oregon. So then they hired this one guy. He's like by himself, but he had a family that he picked up at the train station, and he was like volunteer to help them, you know, guide them too. So along the journey, he has so the guy, he has his wife and his daughter, and then his youngest son. But it's mostly the daughter. The movies evolve around. So she just turned 18. She was born 1883. She's the one like narrating the show. Anyway, through the movie, she was in love with this cowboy guy, and he got killed by bandits. Like she married him, and then they were all in love and everything. She never felt in love in her life, and then after that, she fell in love with this Indian guy, a Comanche, because he saved her life like twice, and her dad's life. So he taught her a little bit about like what her name is. Her name was she called herself Lightning. Not her name is not Lightning, but she called her horse named Lightning because it's super fast. So the Indian guy, you know, wanted to race her because she said her horse could beat him, and she did beat him. So he called her Lightning with yellow hair because she had blonde hair. So then he taught her a couple, you know, things like Manuk Tuk or something like that, like I love you, Manuk Tuk or something. And then Lightning with yellow hair, like in so that came in the show. It came to save her life because she was attacked by a bunch of Indian, and she yelled out, you know, her name and everything in the Indian language and the Comanche language. And it's really cool, man. But not before she got shot by an arrow that went through her liver. So what happens is they dip the head of the arrow in shit. Cow shit, buffalo shit, whatever, right? That will cause like a sepsis, you know, in your liver. It will like infect you, you know. You can, that like slow death. So she got shot by an arrow, and her dad didn't want to tell her. He told, you know, like, told the mom, don't tell her that she's dying, you know. Say she'll be alright. Rather than just be her like bed, all in bed, all doped up and everything with opium, you know, all with the opiate. He wanted her to enjoy her last week or whatever that she had left. So the reason I say the movie is made for me is because, you know, around November, when my wife got really sick, she had bed sores and she had a lot of problems, man, you know. She had 5 back surgeries starting at 2006. She broke her hip twice around 2023, somewhere around there. 23, 24. And in 2024, around November, October, she broke her ankle because she had thyroid problems and her leg was really swelled up, real fat, you know. And she was bedbound, and then she got bed sores, and it got worse. She had like 2 surgeries, and it made it bigger and bigger and bigger, and she's supposed to rotate in her sleep, and she just gave up, man. She just gave up. There was nothing for her, you know. Her granddaughter was taken away. Her granddaughter and her grandson was taken away. She has nothing to live for, you know. Her son is like an alcoholic. Her daughter's like homeless, and I mean, she got me, but I don't know. It's only so much I can do, you know. Cause she wanted to get a bigger place, and we couldn't afford it, you know. We're living in the studio for you know, since 2010, so 15 years we lived in there, and it was to me it was fine, but she wanted better things. And I found a diary of her diary, and I read a little bit of it, and it turns out she was like she said she went to visit a friend in Oregon, but turns out she went to meet some guy in Canada, stayed with him for like a week, you know. And in her diary, she was like up in the morning, she goes out and sit in the backyard, look at the squirrels and everything, and kind of bummed me out because when she was with me, you know, she didn't want to get out of bed. She didn't want to go outside and sit in the carport or anything like that. I guess the place where she went was a house in the backyard. And so she ended up being in the hospital off and on for like 2 months, you know. So I still had dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is across the street from where she was staying at the hospital. So I would get there Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 in the morning, no, 9 in the morning till 12. So 9, 10, 11, 12, to 3 hours. And then at 12 I would go to dialysis till 5. And then I would go across the street to see her 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's say 5 hours, right, for 3 days, right, out of the week. And then on my days off, I would go from 9, because they close at 8, so 9 to 8. Let's say 10 hours, right? Let's say 8 to 8. Oh no, 9 to 8. They say 9 till 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 11. Let's say 10 hours, right? I went to see her. So those 4 days, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 times 10, that's 40. Plus 15, 55. Let's say 50 hours. Just round off 50 hours a week. I went to see her. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Great, how you doing?
Good.
So 50 hours for 2 months, I went to see her, like off and on, right? I mean, not exactly 2 months. So 50 hours, let's say 4 weeks, that's 200 hours, right? Times 2, that's 400. Let's say 300 hours, right? We'll take that 100 hours off. So for 2 months, I seen her for 300 hours. The first couple of times I was there at the hospital, she didn't really recognize me, you know. She kind of just looked at me. And I think she's just thinking of all the, you know. But this is way before I found out that, you know, I didn't read her journal until like she passed away. So I didn't really know that she went to some guy's place, you know. I think it was 2017 or something like that. But I wish you would have told me. I mean, I would have just let it go, you know. If she wanted to be with another person, I would have just let it go. But I tried my best, man. So when she passed, I almost took myself, man. I almost took myself out. I think what brought me back is I have, you know, when I used to have 7 cats, or 8 cats. I used to have 2 cats. That's the reason why I moved away to New Jersey and then to Florida was the landlord said I couldn't have the cats. And I loved my 2 cats. Those cats were actually for her. They were her cats, but then she was like, well, they belong to you, so now it's your cat. So I took 2 cats, and it turns out that the mom was pregnant, and then she had 6 kids, 6 babies. And I delivered them, man. 2 in the morning, March 24, 2 in the morning. That's when they were born. 6 cats, man. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Thank God, you know, they all survived. And then I moved to Florida, and then the dad ran away. He never came back, so the mom was left with 7 babies. So then I ended up giving it to my sister in Florida, and she gave the mom and one of the baby to this farmer. And then another, I think she kept 4 of the cats out of 7. So I took my own life because I saw those cats, you know. Yeah, I was gonna, cause she had like a whole bottle of like Oxy, you know, Tylenol, codeine, and all that shit. Cause she the last month she was on a Heptis. You know, my dad was on that too, cause he had cancer. Why they let you die at the house. So I saw those cats, you know, looking at me. And it was really dark, you know, in my mind, man, when she passed. And, Yes, I saw the cats and stuff like that, and you know, as the first 3 days I think was the hardest. I finally got through it, and in March I moved here. Anyway, in the story, 1883. So it turns out she was dying, and then her dad asked her where she want to get buried. You know, she said, "I want to choose my own burial ground." So there was those Indian guys that she found these Indian guys. They told them there was a was it 4 weeks on a wagon or something like that, or 2 weeks to get there, but on a horse it's like 2 days, because she only had like 2 or 3 days left to live. So the dad went with her, you know, and told the mom to say goodbye to her, and she didn't say, you know, she was pissed off. So, and then they sat under the tree just like this one, just like this tree right here, and then she sat on his lap, you know. So those days, you know, reminds me of when I was with my wife every day at the hospital, you know. There were so many days that I was praying to God that when I get to the hospital that she be gone, you know. Because I said goodbye to her a couple of times already. I said, you know, just let go, you know, just go. Just go, because she was suffering so bad that every time they came to change her Band-Aid, you know, they throw her around like a rag doll, right? And you see that, it's like, it hurts even more, you know, just watching. And so that movie really hit me hard. So the captain, the one that was like in charge of the show, was like, oh, he's back. My thing's back. Hold on. So my nephew Tony, you need to get some. I know it's a lot of potassium, but okay. What can you do? Shouldn't have these potassium, you know. Yeah, so he's just waiting for his daughter to die, you know. Back then, you know, this is 1883, so there's no, you know, no hospital, no medication, no nothing like that. But it's like, when is a perfect time to say goodbye to your loved ones, you know? That's why I always tell you, go visit your friends and family. You know, the dead don't need anything, you know? Because I can remember the last day, she was going to sleep. She said she couldn't breathe, so I gave her the oxygen tank. And she says, "I love you." And then the next day, she was like, yeah, that was the last time. She fell into a coma. And I went to see her for like the last time, and I just told her, I can't come back anymore, you know? It hurts too bad. So anyway, the captain, he lost his wife, you know. Her name was Helen. So in one scene, the girl, after the first guy that she fell in love with and married, when he got shot, the next day she went and kneeled down on his grave with a gun in her hand, right? So then the captain was like, came to talk to her. He says, you know, let me tell you a story. He said, I was in the same position as you were many years ago. And she says, why didn't you pull the trigger? Says because I wanted. She says because I need to get to Oregon, see the ocean. She asked him, what do you mean? He said he promised his wife that, because she always wanted to see the ocean. That he would take her to see the ocean. So then he's fighting his demon, you know. He never got married, you know. One of my neighbor too, his name was William. We call him Bill. He was in the army. He was in the Vietnam War. He lost his wife to cancer in her 40s. He was probably like 80 years old, like 72, 74, somewhere around there. He never got married, you know. Same way with the captain in the show, 1883. So then he finally got to see the ocean in the end. You know, in the end of the show. Then he finally pulled the trigger. Boom. You know, he made a promise to his wife. And then his job is, you know, done. You know, life or death. And our, you know, throughout our lifetime, it's the journeys, you know, that we get through. The journey that takes us to the end of that lifetime. So so you know, like for myself too, you know, it's like I don't think I want another woman, you know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm never, but most likely, because the pain is so hard, man. You know, I lost my cats and I lost my wife. The pain is it's unbearable, man. That, you know, it's the reason why I try to keep busy, right? And like I was saying, man, you know, I was so worried about my doctor's appointment. I was worried about settling in. I was worried about like, finding things to do to keep my mind occupied. And and now I have all the freedom in the world, right? And by watching shows like that, it really taught me a lot, even more than what I know. So yeah, that's pretty much example I want to show you about 1883. But now we go to the next show, which is 1923, which is way better. So it's about like they settle in Montana, where there's gold and silver and coal. The mining's coming in. Electricity is like becoming the normal. They're getting like washer and dryer, stoves, electricity, running water, kind of like the stuff when I came to America, from the refugee camp, where we had nothing. So the lady has two nephews. The younger one's with her. The older one, he's in like Africa. They have like three different stories, They have a story about this Indian girl that got kidnapped to this like boarding school. And then they have the older nephew who's in Africa, like hunting like all these animals. And then they have the story with the lady and her family in Montana, where they're fighting over the ranch. I want to focus more on the ranch and the oldest son. I mean the older nephew. So the older nephew, he was in a World War I, right? And he had killed so many people with the machine guns, And it was brutal, Like he couldn't face it, like face coming home. So he had to go find something to, because the killing like traumatized him. He needed to find something that like really scared him even more than that. So what he did is he became like a hunter. Like he would like contract to go, there'd be like a leopard. There was two leopards that was gonna they were coming into the people's tent, and killing people, right? Dragging them out like at night and stuff. Like he went to hunt the leopards, and then I don't want to say too much because the show is really good, but I have to say enough to get the point across. And so by hunting these dangerous animals, where his life is like could be gone in a minute, it out traumatized him at the war, and you can think of that like today, right? I know a lot of people that's traumatized. They a lot of them, you see, they get like a full body tattoos, because the tattoos give them pain. Some people like use drugs or alcohol to wipe the the pain away. But you notice a lot of people are doing tattoos now. You see somebody with like full body tattoos, yeah. They have they always have something like when they're younger, something traumatized them, Whether it's like a divorce or the parents' divorce or abuse or something, So for him it was like, so his soul was gone, like he has no like happiness until he found this one girl. She was gonna get married and she abandoned the guy and jumped in with him, and you know, made his life worth living for, right? And she was the only light that came into his dark world, you know? And it's awesome, man. You know what I mean? And then another thing was at the ranch, the guy, the head guy of the ranch, he got shot and he almost died. And he didn't want his his ranch workers to see him like struggling, right? So he would have his wife help him walk, and he would go on a walk by himself and everything like that. Try to get himself stronger. So that kind of reminds myself, when I first got my kidney transplant in 1998. I was 27 years old, and I was in the bed for like 3 days, and so the kidney kicked in, so I had to go pee, and I got up, and as soon as I got off the bed, I fell straight down. My leg just gave up, like all my muscle were gone, right? And then when I got home, that took me like a whole week, right? No, a whole month. Hold on. Can't talk when there's cars around. Yeah, so that took me a whole month, man, to walk around the block. So yeah, that was the first time. The second time was 1998. 2014 when I had the home dialysis, and then my tubes got infected, and I was in the hospital for 14 days, and I lost like 20 pounds. And when I came out of there, that took me another a month to walk around the block, same thing. So that's the second time that happened to me. So that seeing him walking like that in the show, like takes me back. And yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, there's so many parts and little tidbits, things like that it was awesome writing, man, of those both of those shows. Like this one time when the guy was dying, when he got shot, his wife was praying, and we're looking for like 3 answers, right? Yes, not yet, and God has something better plans for us, right? So that was like kind of cool, and we don't want to hear God has a better plan and not yet. We want to hear the yes answer, right, when we pray, right? I mean, I told you the bicycle story. I say it a lot of times, but I'm gonna say it again anyway. Not everybody watched my video, especially this long. The kid that they got a bike for Christmas. He was praying to God that it didn't rain on Christmas. And when he woke up, it was pouring, right? And then he's like, God, why'd you let it rain, So now God is like, has 2 choices. Should I answer the prayer for a kid that just wants to ride his bike on Christmas to enjoy the day, or should he answer the prayer of farmers who needs water for the farm, right? So of course he's gonna pick the farmer, right? Because it's more at stake, Because the water for the crops, and the crops grow, they can sell the crops, and more food for us to eat, and keep the economy going, right? Rather than just some kid just randomly, just gonna be another day for him, and he can ride his bike anytime, So that's how God looks at it, So it's like just like when I came here in March, and my sister and my brother-in-law, they go to the LA Fitness in the morning, you know, and I wanted to go with them because they have a swimming pool there and they have weights and everything. So I asked them, and they're like, no, you can't go because your name's not on the list. So I got pissed off, you know, not pissed off, but you know, like more than bum, right? Because I wanted to go. I was so excited. Like I said, you know, I want to keep my mind busy. So it turns out that you need to get a Medicare. I have Medicare, but you need to get Medicare Part C with Advantage, right? Enrollment. And they don't enroll. They only enroll between October and November, right? So you have to do that during those months. So then, as since March, we're in June now. Between March and June, I got me a weight thing right in the backyard to do my weightlifting, like I could do it right now, right? But I'm not even doing it. See. And then there's a swimming pool up the street, $2, right, from 12 to 5. And then I got a basketball because they have a full court basketball. I can play basketball there. And yeah, so you know it. When we pray, you know, it's not our time, you know, it's God's time, right? And when you wait for God's timing, He always gives us like way more than we deserve, you know, like a lot more, like 10 times. You know, like right now, I'm waiting for my eye doctor appointment. It's gonna happen, you know, in God's time. It's not my time, you know. And I applied for the food stamp and the Medicaid, right? It'll come. You know, when it's God's turn. So yeah, there's a lot of little things like that shows we like. I can't wait to go back and finish the show, you know, right now. But it's pretty awesome, man. So I'm gonna wrap it up. All right. Yeah, because I'm gonna do my skating tomorrow. It's not gonna be any skating today. I just want to go in there and just relax, you know, enjoy my my day and just, you know, get more brain food, right? So like I was saying, when you know, my wife died in January. I moved here in March, trying to get everything settled, like, you know, what I planned. Like I was hoping there's stuff around. There is stuff around the corner here. You can go skate at night and stuff now. Because what happened was at nighttime, especially like today, right? Saturday, and last night was Friday. Like I end up going to bed, not going to bed, but going to my room like around 8 o'clock. And I feel like that's a waste of time, you know? You know, waste of a night, you know what I mean? On a weekend night. So I was trying to find like a karaoke bar or something to go to, or, you know, just go somewhere like singing and stuff like that. So then 2 nights ago, I found out there's a bank on a corner up here where you can skate at night because they got lights now. So nighttime I can go there now. Like I said, you know, God's answering all my prayers, you know. And so tomorrow we'll probably do the skateboarding beginners out here early. You know, I like to do it around 12. It's already like 4 o'clock. It's kind of, I don't know, you know, on the mood. So all this time I was kind of stressed out, you know. I was trying, I was running out of you know, my medication for the dialysis, Foslo. I was running out, and I got two big bottles of it the other day, last week. That came in. Like I said, I need to get my Medicaid, get my food stamp, and get my eye doctor in Fort Worth. I just got a what do you call it? Discount pass for the train bus. Instead of $6, it's $3 all day pass. Ride my bike, building up my legs and my ankles. And then I'm starting to get my smiles back, you know, like my natural smiles. Because for a while I was so serious, you know. the smile was fading away, you know. The light was putting out in my mind. But the natural smile started coming in. Everything's coming along, man. Everything's going great, you know. And next month, I'm gonna get some knee pads. I want to work my way down to the skate park in Dallas. Skate the half pipe and the vert ramp. So my main focus right now in life is just to get better on my skateboard. That's it. That's my main focus, you know. And living here, everything's perfect. You know, all my treatment, everything. Like I said, just little knick-knack things that didn't go like I planned. And by watching this show, you know, it really opened my eyes even more. Like the struggle, you know, is real, you know. And that life is short, man. Life is short. It's never too late to want to do something, you know. You have to find a goal in life that you want to do. See, like, a lot of times, a lot of people might always bring my age up, you know, 54. It's like, yeah, you know, you're losing your stamina and all that. So I'm like, okay. Right? So, but I'm always gonna keep pushing forward, you know, pushing positive, trying to find solutions for my answers. So I saw a video yesterday where the guy was like showing me that I couldn't stand. So I couldn't stand my leg, one leg. So he was saying to try to stand like, hold it. Right? Yeah. So he said to do that every day. Try to hold 5 to 10 seconds, and then, you know, keep moving up. And he said in a month, you'll be surprised how strong your leg's gonna be. I guess it works with the abs, and your brain, I guess, has to figure out how to balance yourself. So that's another solution I want to try every day. Do that while I'm just standing still. I'm in the backyard listening to music or whatever. Practice that. And like I said, man, the goal is to ride a vert ramp, drop it in a vert ramp, you know. And yeah, so I just want to make this video because if you never seen it, yeah, it's on Paramount Plus. If you get Walmart Plus, it's free. I mean, you get the cheap version, you know, where they have commercials and you can't get the Showtime, you know. Like, you can't watch Dexter Resurrection, but you can watch this show. There's a lot of shows you can watch still, you know. There's a lot of like series, like what do you call it? You know, like what's the other one? Like CSI, FBI, Law and Order, you know, stuff like that. But I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say today for the video. We're gonna go watch the rest of it, see what happens. But yeah, the whole point of it is like, seems like that movie is made for me, you know, my past experience. It could be different for you. Anyway, go out and visit your friends and family, because the dead don't need anything. Okay. Always have fun. You don't see me have fun, see me quit. I'll be keeping the underground lit for you and me, alright? Enjoy.